Yeah,
So
exactly.
anyway, so that's a little fun fact. I do have, I've got reels of tape, and I bet I have a tattoo that not a lot of people have. I have a cart.
That looks like a Fidela pack. It's red.
I have a cart. And by the length, how long would you say this cart is? By the amount
I'd give
of
it
tape.
I give it 30, maybe 7. I give it either 40 or 70. What do you think it is?
40. I think it's 40-second.
It's a 40-second cart. Oh my gosh, I've never seen a cart tattoo.
I have a waveform.
Yeah.
And this says, "This is a tattoo." That's my voice, and I screenshotted it and took it to the tattoo dude.
Say, here, do this.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then all of these are the rest of the stuff is like a schematic to an FM transmitter.
Welcome to the Denver Radio Club Net. Being held on repeater W0TX. This is meeting held on the air every Sunday evening at about 8:30 p.m. Good evening. My name is Jim. My call sign is Kilo Zero Tango Oscar Romeo. I'll be your net control station transmitting from Littleton, Colorado. If there is any emergency or priority traffic during this net, say break at any pause, and the net will be suspended until the emergency or priority traffic is completed. This net is for Denver Radio Club members and all interested radio amateurs. We're here to share information concerning any ham-related activities. Regular meetings of the Denver Radio Club are held on the third Wednesday of every month at 7 p.m. And with our COVID-19 restrictions, we have virtual meetings, and we meet on Google Meets. And if you would like to join us, that address to the Google Meets location occurs on our website, W0TX.org, or if you're on a mail list, you'll get an email that actually lists the address. Our next meeting will be held on October the 20th. An Elmer session is held at 6 p.m. just prior to our monthly meeting. And this session addresses any amateur radio questions that you might have. So whether you're new to amateur radio or interested in some new application of amateur radio, this is a session where you can get help. Also, every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m., except the third Wednesday when a monthly meeting is held, there's a learning net held on 145.490 megahertz and 448.625 megahertz. This is another area where you can find answers for your amateur radio-related questions. As a general interest club, we provide emergency communication for the Salvation Army, the City of Wheat Ridge Police Department, the City of Lakewood Police Department, West Metro Fire District, and St. Anthony's West Hospital. We're always looking for members who would like to participate in this support. Please contact our club president if you'd like to help. Our current president is Jerry Vilhauer, W0GB. Jerry's telephone number is 303-467-0223. The Denver Radio Club website address is W0TX.org. Again, Jerry's telephone number is 303-467-0223. The Denver Radio Club also participates in the ARRL Volunteer Examiner Program. But again, with COVID-19 restrictions, we don't have test sessions as often as we had in the past. But if you'd like to find when those are held, we list those on our website on W0TX.org, or we also try to get those out in this net as well. Also, there's other local clubs that are holding test sessions, and many of those are reported on this net as well. So if you need that type of information, you certainly can just monitor the net or check out our website. Also, if you have questions regarding VE testing, you can contact our VE team lead, Tom Kozlowski, KC2CHE, and his number is 720-284-1911.
W0TX repeater.
This is the Denver Radio Club Net, W0TX, and this is K0TR serving as net control. Are there any special announcements or bulletins for the net this evening? If so, please call now.
N0ETV, brief announcement.
N0ETV, this is K0TR. Go ahead, Lance, with your announcement.
Yes, this is N0ETV, Lance and Aurora. Yesterday morning, the Mile High VE team ran a test session at HRO. We had only one person scheduled, but that person was awarded a tech license. N0ETV, back to net.
N0ETV, this is K02R. Thanks, Lance, for that announcement. Sorry to hear that was kind of a light turnout there, but maybe we're getting caught up with those needing testing, but we'll have to wait and see how that comes along. Make one more call. Is there any other special announcements or bulletins for the net this evening? If so, please call now. All right, Lance, I do have you checked in. So before regular check-ins, I'd like to welcome and invite any visiting radio amateurs to check into the Denver Radio Club net this evening. During this net, we disable the requirement for the 100 Hz PO repeater access tone, so you can use either 145.490 megahertz with a minus 600 kilohertz offset, or 448.625 megahertz with a minus 5 megahertz offset. Are they visiting radio amateurs who'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club net tonight? If so, please call now.
Kilo 0, Charlie Tango Romeo, Ryan Mobile, North Glen.
And at control, I'd like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-in. K0CTR, Ryan. Welcome to the net. And how did you happen to find us?
Oh, I've known about Denver Radio Club for many years. They're actually a pivotal part of how I got my license, how I got my ticket many years ago. So that goes back to the days of old Dean Haysworth, AC0S, and whatnot, and classes that were held at one of the churches there in Lakewood, as I remember, back in the 1990s. So looking forward to getting back with signing up with the club, and plan on doing that through the website here in the next week or so. So looking forward to being back on the membership rolls, or DRC. Anyway, just want to say hi to you. It's good to hear a familiar voice, and hi to everybody else. Hope you have a great week ahead. K0CTR, back to net.
K0CTR, this is K02R. Thanks very much. Appreciate you dropping by, and look forward to having you join us as well. And certainly invite you to tune in Sunday night to our net. And if there's any questions we can answer, anything of that nature, we're certainly here to help you in that regard. So don't hesitate to ask, and welcome back. All right, let me check and see, are there any other visitors who'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club net tonight? If so, please call now.
November 0, Bravo, Uniform Papa, John in Arvada.
And at Control, I'd like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-in. I hope we got the call sign right. I was setting down my pencil, but I believe it's N0YNP. Yankee November Papa. And welcome to the net, John. And we're curious on how you found us as well.
Okay, Jim. The call is November 0, Bravo Uniform Papa, like no backup plan. And I'm in Arvada, and I used to be a Denver Radio Club member back in the 1980s. So I'm just trying to rediscover the club again.
Well, very good. Welcome back to you as well, John. Glad to have you come back, and I think you'll find clubs are very active, and we'll have a lot of good technical presentations as such each month. We use the Google Meets site, and that's worked out quite well. We're looking for a site that we might be able to meet face to face with the COVID-19 restrictions, but we haven't found anything at this point, so we're still looking. Looks like it'll be a while before the Jefferson County Courts and Administration Building opens up their facilities. So that's where we did meet face to face, and they had an excellent facility out there. But we still, on Google Meets, have some excellent presentations and keep everybody up to date and such. So that's filled in well and kept us active and out of trouble with all the requirements for COVID. So anyways, welcome back, and glad to have you join us, and we certainly would invite you to join us every Sunday evening as well. So glad to have both you and Ryan join us. So welcome back. And before I move on, we have any other visitors who'd like to join the net this evening? Please call now.
Thanks again for everyone joining here on YouTube. Just browsing links that are brought up. N0BUP.
All right, next I'd like to welcome and invite any newly licensed or recently upgraded radio amateurs to check in. Please call now.
Again, the ARL is actually having an auction, and that's what I was looking at here as a result
I'll
of
now
this,
take regular
comics.
check-ins in groups, and please let me know if you have traffic when you check in, and I'll get back to you. First, radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin with letters A through E, Alpha through Echo. Please call now.
10 Delta Papa Romeo, Paul and Aurora.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Bravo Papa Mike, Michael Centennial.
November 0 Delta Bravo Sierra, Dawn in Denver, no traffic.
Whiskey Bravo 0, Alpha Kilo Victor, Rich in Westminster, no traffic.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Alpha Foxtrot Quebec, Troy in Denver, no traffic.
Kilo Charlie 0, Charlie Zulu, Bob and Thornton.
W0TX Repeater.
WD0CIV, WD0CIV, Charles in Denver, no traffic.
While check-ins are going on, I'm actually going to quiet those down a little bit and play a video from RSGB.
Alpha 5, Delta Kilo Sierra, McCann.
Royal Society of Great Britain, a s.t.e.m S.t.e.m video here for youth. I'll bring it back up here in a bit.
Hi, my name is Caitlin.
But you should still hear.
I'd like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. K0DPR Paul, KF0BPM Michael, N0DPS Don, WB0AKV Rich, KF0AFQ Roach.
Hello, my name is Millie.
KC0CZ Bob, WD0CIV Charles, and KA5DKS Ken. Make one more call for radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters A through E.
Hi, my name is Alice.
Echo, please call now.
This should just be a few minutes as well.
Hello, I'm Natalie, Nat for short.
All right, we'll move on down the alphabet. Radio amateurs whose call suffixes beginning letters F through J. Foxtrot.
Hi, I'm John, G7OHO. As well as being involved with the Hilderstone Radio Society, I help with the observatory at the Moncton Nature Reserve. I was asked by a primary school to give a talk about the stars and planets, which I did. And we did an experiment with all the children to measure the size of the Earth, Eratosthenes experiment, which involved taking measurements of the shadow of the sun on the spring equinox, and we combined our results with those from other schools around the world. They then asked me to start a coding club, which I did, and
Hey Bob, good evening. I'll let you
I
get you
used
checked
the
in.
Arduino. Now, at the time, the Arduino was not as popular as it is now, and I struggled to find other schools interested in the Arduino. But I was able to find Joe and Julie in Australia who used the Arduino with their children in the primary school. So we had a challenge to set up a project, an artwork that involved flashing LEDs. The challenge with the children in Australia led to Joe and Julie sending me lots of kits to make multi-vibrator circuits. So that was very generous of them, sending it in the post with lots of information and guides and so on. So we made the multi-vibrator on a breadboard, and then later we soldered all the bits together to make the hypnotic owl.
We were very lucky to be sent these hypnotic owl kits by Joe and Julie from Australia to help us learn more about electronics and circuits. The end result is an owl with flashing blue LED eyes.
Please call now.
The kit comes with everything needed and
Kilo Zero, Kilo Uniform, Frank
the
Uniform.
the build was soldering components to the printed circuit board. This was my first try at soldering and I really enjoyed it. This one, it's basically the same thing, apart from there are some different arrangements because this mini breadboard is bigger than the actual circuit board. But it does the same thing. It wasn't us who really got to choose whether we did it on the breadboard or the circuit board first. But I think it was because it was our first time soldering, and we also had to make sure that everyone knew where to put the things. We also had to learn what all the numbers and letters meant on them. And so it was just getting used to knowing what it would do when it worked. Along here on the breadboard, which is a bit moved about on the circuit board, those are the resistors.
K0KKU Frank.
And those are what you
K0OSI Tom.
use to
WG0N Dave.
use them to
KPS Kevin.
speed up the flashing
Make
of
a
the
second
lights.
call for radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters
This one
K
is
through
a
O,
transistor,
Kilo through Oscar. Please
and
call
it
now.
switches, it's what makes the lights flash, so it switches the lights on and off. And the LEDs are there because they're the lights that are flashing and they're the eyes of the owl. The
Moving down
bit with the
alphabet, radio
soldering
amateurs call
was,
suffixes
it was
begin letters P through T.
everyone's
Papa
first
through Tango.
time, so
Please go now.
no one was better or worse
Whiskey
than
Bravo
anyone
2,
else.
Sierra Hotel Romeo.
And
Stand in
we
Denver,
also
no
got
traffic.
to do it ourselves, which is one of the best bits about it, because we didn't. No one did it for us, and we got to do it ourselves. And the adults were really just there to supervise.
Kilo Bravo Niner, Quebec Delta Golf, KB Niner, QDG, Carl.
We had to cut a picture of this out from, I can't remember what we had to cut it out of. I think it was a sheet or something.
Net Control would like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. WB2SHR Stan, KE0RBZ John, KB9er QDG Carl, and N0TRP Jim. Make second call for radio amateurs. This call suffixes begin letters P through T, Papa through Tango. Please call now.
KD0 NRO Reed in Arvada.
Net Control would like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-in. KD0 NRO Reed. Move on down the alphabet, radio amateurs. This call suffixes begin letters U through Z, uniform through Zulu. Please call out.
KF0UV, Marshall and Glendale.
November 1, Zulu Tango Tango, Dan in Denver, no traffic.
Kilo Alpha 0, Victor Bravo Alpha, Curtis in Lakewood clear.
Kilo 0, Yankee Echo Sierra, Ken in Broomfield.
November 0, X-Ray Romeo X-Ray, Mark in Arvada, no traffic.
Kilo Echo 0, Yankee Kilo Victor, Bill in Lakewood.
Net Control would like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. KF0UV Marshall, N1ZTT Dan, KA0VBA Curtis, K0YES Ken, N0XRX Mark, and KE0YKV Bill. Make second call for radio amateurs. This call suffixes begin letters U through Z, uniform through Zulu. Please call now.
Kilo Delta 0, Whiskey Papa Quebec, Tom and Aurora.
Net Control would like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-in. KD0WPQ Tom. And let me open up an entire alphabet. Radio amateurs, this call suffixes begin letters A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. Please call out.
This is Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie Drone, K1DBC. Also checking in, Whiskey Alpha 4, Mike Bravo Golf, Bob.
Net Control, I'd like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. K1DBC Drone and WA4 MBG Bob. Be a chance for late check-ins a little later in the net. And at this time, I'd like to turn the net over to our club president, Jerry Billhauer, W0GV, cover club business. Go ahead, Jerry, the net is yours.
All right, Jim. Well, thanks for doing the net. Welcome, everybody. Good to hear a couple ex-members, I guess, come back. Welcome back with us. A couple things to tell you. I put it in the roundtable, but we've made the decision not to do the holiday party again this year. It just takes so much work and planning behind the scenes to do this. Collecting everybody's money and do just 1,000 things that you have to do, and we just don't know what Denver will do if this COVID keeps spiking and then getting better and then spiking, and if they go back to occupancy limitations like they've done, where I think for a while there you can only have 15 people or something like that, if I remember correctly. So hopefully things will go better. Things will stabilize in 2022, and we'll be able to get back to doing what we enjoy, which would be the Christmas holiday party and getting back to some face-to-face meetings and so forth. But I don't think it's in the cards right now. Let me drop it a second here. So we apologize for that, but it's probably the right decision. The other thing I wanted to bring you up to date on, and some of you know about this, some don't. About a week ago, Wednesday, our Squaw Mountain 449-350 repeater went silent suddenly on us. So we had a work party organized, and we went up to Squaw a week ago today to find that our antenna was taken down and damaged, and our feed line was removed from the site, and so there we were. So many phone calls and so forth, Monday and Tuesday and into Wednesday, to find out who removed the antenna, and finally figured it out. And let me drop again. So the long and short of the story was that a tower maintenance company removed it by mistake, and they didn't think it was terminated, and obviously it was. So the good thing is they owned up to their mistake, and they agreed to rectify it. So last Thursday, we got a brand new antenna and about 100 feet or so of 7/8 inch hard line, feed line, and got it installed, and we're back on the air. So I want to particularly thank Dave, WG0N, for spending all day last Thursday on top of Squaw with the tower crew to look out for our interest and make sure that everything went in our favor, which it all did. So Dave, thanks for that. Also, our work party that went up there, thanks to them, we went kind of prepared to do several things, because we're thinking in our head, if the repeater's bad, well, then we'll take it down and we'll put our spare repeater in, and if the controller's bad, we had it figured out where we could get the repeater going with the internal controller and so forth. And, surprise, surprise, when the antenna is missing, so our transmit antenna. So anyway, we weren't quite prepared for that. But all in all, we came out well. So thanks again to Dave, WZ0N, part of our work party, Orland, WW0LF, myself, and Steve, K0STC, and we also had a couple guys up there from CRA that was doing some maintenance on their equipment. So anyway, we came out well on this. There was nothing wrong with our antenna, but now we got a real high quality new transmit antenna and new feed line, so we ought to be good for the next 20, 25 years. So anyway, just wanted you to kind of know what was going on if you tried to use the repeater and it didn't play. And then we had a temporary antenna on it for a few days, and it worked, but not very well. So we got phone calls about that. So everything should be up to par, and that's about all I got to tell you, I guess. So 7-3, and back to you, Jim. W0GV.
W0GV, this is K0TR. Thanks, Jerry. Appreciate that, and that's good news. I'm glad to hear that it's back in service and doing well. So I don't see anybody that indicated they had traffic when they checked in. This is the Denver Radio Club Net, W0TX, and this is K0TR, your net control station. Does anyone have any other comments, information, or business for the net? If so, please call now.
Late check-in, Jim, K0RCW in Lakewood. No traffic.
All right. Net Control acknowledges and welcomes the following check-in, K0RCW Robert. And another query, is there any other comments, information, or business for the net? Please call now. All right, do we have any late check-ins? Please call now. All right, I'll now review next weekend's contest and upcoming Hamfest. And the only Hamfest I have on the calendar at this point in time, and keep our fingers crossed that this one here will actually happen without having to cancel it because of COVID. But this is going to be the Aurora Repeater Association's Hamfest. That's scheduled for the 20th of February of 2022. That'll be in the Adams County Fairgrounds. And let's hope that things settle down here with COVID, and we finally can have an Hamfest where we can get around and see each other again and verify that all is well. And if you got any information or need any information regarding the Hamfest, you can go to their website, n0ara.org. And let's see what we got here for the upcoming weekend Hamfest. Let's see, the first one I have on the calendar here is the JRTS Worldwide RTT Contest. It begins on October 16th at 0 hours Zulu, goes through October 17th.
Here on YouTube, appreciate y'all being here. Very similar things that happen here every week, so I figured I'd mix things up here a little bit and play a video. If you've never heard of This Week in Radio Tech, it's a podcast that's been on the air for quite a while. It's on the twit.tv network. Leo Laporte. These are broadcast radio engineers, work behind the scenes to bring you most everything people listen to, including web delivered. So this was associated with twit.tv. They're no longer anymore, but one of their most recent episodes here from October 10th, s.t.e.m and s.t.e.m with Sean McCannon and Bill Bennett. So I'll play a few minutes of that here, probably till the end of the net. So yeah, appreciate everyone being here. Hopefully this will hopefully make up for the lack of content on these Sunday night nets here. So here we go on that. Maybe. We'll see. What is this doing?
broadcast engineer. Let's go ahead and bring in both of my guests we have here. Let's click the button here. Sean McMahon is in the middle. Hello, Sean. Welcome in. Good to see you.
Thank you, sir.
Sean is the robotics team head coach. Where at? Where's that at?
At Gateway High School in Monroeville, Pennsylvania.
Okay. Is that outside of Pittsburgh?
Yeah, just east of Pittsburgh.
Good deal. Good deal. Sean, we're glad to have you. Thanks for joining us on the show. Also, Bill Bennett is here, and Bill's been a face on here before. Hello, Bill. Good to see you.
It's great to see you again, Kurt. Hello, Sean.
Bill, not only are you a recovering broadcast engineer, but you are the first robotics coach, mentor, and judge.
One of many, indeed.
Okay. We're going to hear about all that coming up. Now, let's have the elevator speech, what we're talking about. There are two words that start with S that we're talking about. Bill, give us one of them, whichever one you like.
Serendipity.
That's not the word I had in mind, but okay.
Oh.
Starts with S.T.?
S.t.e.m.
S.t.e.m. I've heard about this STEM thing, and Sean, what's the other word?
S.t.e.m.
S.t.e.m. And apparently there's a difference. So, and you may think you know what the difference is. I have several correct answers for you coming up in the show as we move along. Hey, but right now I want to remind you real quick about our one of our. Could you tell me what was your idea about?
Well, I mean, so broadcast engineering, right? We've been in the industry for a long time, and we know that there's always a lack of engineering talent out there. And broadcast engineers are hard to find. They're a unique type with special interests in sometimes some really interesting fields. But there's just not enough of them. And so how do we recruit more? How do we get more people excited to consider broadcasting, some part of engineering or technology related to broadcasting? And it just seemed a great idea to talk to you about it because you talk to a lot of other broadcast engineers, especially in radio. And I think there's an awareness out there that we could raise to help other engineers see that there's something they can do to help raise awareness in their communities, to help kids really get an understanding of science, technology, engineering, or math, or STEAM, that's STEAM, and then STEM, science, technology, engineering, arts, or math. And there's a lot of different areas that those students could find interesting in the radio and television broadcast environments, and they have really good careers from that. So, we just got to raise awareness.
And Sean McMahon, you are not a broadcaster yourself, right?
No, sir.
But as the robotics team head coach, we'll get into this later about how I came up into the area of engineering. And how Bill came up into the area of engineering. There's a lot of similarities there. But it seems like the way that we came up is a bit different than what students are finding these days. And Sean, tell me if you would a bit about your experience as a robotics team head coach and how you get, what about getting students interested in that or something that seems cool and then seeing where they diversify out into in terms of career interest.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes, we'll see people at community demonstrations and they're like, oh, look, it's BattleBots.
BattleBots.
Right. So we have to take the time to explain to people that no, we're not BattleBots, but we show the people out there what the kids, what they're doing, where they're designing and building and wiring and programming these robots for competition. And, at school, it's a little different. A lot of times the kids at school join just from word of mouth, like their friends have came and tried it. Despite being around for 15 seasons coming up in January here, we're still a relatively small club, usually 15, 20 kids. And so, but those people that do it and do it for, the 3 or 4 years in high school, they'll tell you it's an experience unlike anything they've ever seen before.
Why do you suspect that? I see a lot of these STEM and STEAM programs, again, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. There seems to be a couple of camps, those who are in favor of including arts, those who may think that it detracts or dilutes the others. You can stand where you will. I think there's value there. And there's other words, technologies, or areas that start with A that some other people stick in there. For example, some people say, well, STEAM, it doesn't have to be arts. It can be aeronautics. It can be aviation. It can be astronomy. It can be aerospace. it could be anything you want. Although I think arts is a perfectly valuable thing to focus on. But what I'm curious about is robotics seems very attractive. It seems like something that students have interest in. Talk to me about the attractiveness of robotics to get people interested in this, Sean, and then how you help them maybe discern where they want to go from there. Can you help us understand that?
Yeah, like we were saying, robots by nature are cool. Like, as you're younger and you see them, they appear to be magic, right?
Yeah.
And that's one of our favorite things, when we share with, especially with younger kids, like they really think that, the robots are alive and out there doing things. As the kids get a little older, they start to see where you can apply some of the things they're doing in class between the mathematics and the physics. And then, you talked about s.t.e.m.
Repeaters available for regular use. This is K0, your net K0TR, your net control station. And please stand by a moment while I return the field tone to the repeater.
So I think that when kids come along, a lot of times kids join the team because it sounds cool and they don't know exactly what they want to do. So we try to give them as much exposure as we can to let them mess around with how the robots are wired, or go see the software folks and try that and see if it's something that they would like to do. We try to get as many kids the opportunity to drive the robots as possible so they can see if maybe that's something that they like. So it's like exposure, basically, to let them have different opportunities at the meetings to try different things and try to find the area that fits them well. Some kids know exactly what they want to do. We've had kids join day one. They're like, I want to be a programmer. And that's all they do for 4 years.
Yeah.
And that's great. And we've had kids, directly related to this show. We've had kids that come in and they make videos, right? They like to shoot video in the workshop. They shoot highlight reels and cut them together so the families and everybody can see what they're doing. And then they also make videos for award submissions. So like that's a super valuable skill on a robotics team like ours.
Thanks everyone for joining here, me on YouTube. The Sunday Night Net here for the Denver Radio Club. It's a little repetitive, but definitely I'm proud to, and happy to continue streaming the nets here. Regardless, just wanted to mix things up there a little bit. If you hadn't heard of This Week in Radio Tech, really awesome podcast. It's professional broadcast engineers. They've been going for 10-15 years now. A lot of presence. This Week in Radio Tech, TWIRT. Really cool things. So check them out. I guess I'll bring up here real quick at the beginning if you had missed it. It was the I can't find it. I'll have to bring it up again. But really cool. And then as well as I had also brought up some RSGB conventions here recently. So I'll try to put links in the YouTube description. But thanks again for hanging out here this evening, everyone. And we will have our Learning Net this coming Wednesday, and I'll talk to you then. So, thanks again for everyone for being here, and y'all take care. Have a good evening.